How you doing? Happy 4th of July. Felt like making a video. Part of me didn't. Just force yourself. Reason being, I don't know. There's so many. They hunger after what these ones like Robin and Amanda Grace and that cat one. I mean, this the vomit they're willing to eat from those dogs is amazing. Where, like, I just say, just stick with what Jesus has said in the Bible. Stick with just what is written in the Bible and how he divides how the wise and foolish. For God has repeated over and over and over again an event coming for his children. It just isn't like the rabbinic, the popes, all these institutions that have taken their man-made ways and really just fucked everything up for the sheep. Where reading just what is written, the desire to remove self from that is amazing. That they have played this church Jew. It should be Israel, Judah, Israel, Judah. And when Yahavah is talking about his sheep all screwed up because of the man-made ways, and then having to gather them, pour out his spirit upon them, give them a new heart, and all that, where this is even sung about with Christians, Pentecostals, like Messianics, where God pours out his spirit, but they find the trouble of just reading why God does it, because no, we're perfect. We're perfect. Everybody's perfect. We can't admit that we're all fucked up. And that the shepherds are feeding the sheep a bunch of vomit. And that people are not even... The rabbinic has screwed it up for the Christians to see and how to walk as Yehovah said, because they look at the stupid rabbinic bullshit, man-made ways, and think, well, I don't know if I want to do that. And then, then you got Messianics who are in between, and then they bring the condemnation and the chains of legalism back upon believers to try to live as rabbinic live. Then you got the other half where the Pope and all them have screwed it up so that Judah looks at the Messiah and sees, well, that isn't how Yahovah has said that we should walk. But it's because of all the man-made ways. The whole table's covered with vomit. And this is why Yahovah will gather his sheep, make them one, and protect them. The woman given wings, and then someone... That happens at the 3.5 years. The last half. Where does it say the woman is protected at the last half of the 3.5 years of the tribulation? That's when the two witnesses are called up. Then a group number, uncountable, are before the throne. The 3.5 year end before the thousands is when the 144,000 virgins, never a lie on their tongue, are sealed and protected. People are like, the great exodus does not happen at the last 3.5 years. The Gog and Magog war starts at the start of the tribulation, the 7 years. And Yahovah has repeated over and over and over and over and over again what happens right after the Gog and Magog war. It is that time when he pours out his Spirit. He makes the two one. Judah and Israel. If you are a Christian, a believer, you were grafted into the house of Israel. And when the Creator is talking about that, you were part of it. But because everything's mucked up, they got you believing that. The pre-trib ones, okay? They believe that they will beam up to heaven. Well, the Jews go through the trib. Oh, we got to work out how to get our salvation with Jesus. And then at the end, yeah, there's the Savior. Like, that is one way. Then you got your mid-tribs. Oh, we've got some rough times. We're traveling. We're doing this. We make it mid-trib at the heaven when the two witnesses come about. What about the rest of where Yahovah has repeated over and over again that he will gather his two for his name's sake? They will be taken to Israel after the Gog and Magog war. They will be protected. They will be transformed in a way that will be amazing. As it is described, and as Pentecostals, as everybody has preached and sung and went on about, it tells you. But nobody wants to read all the Bible, just as it is written. Then you got ones that will fight tooth and nail. There is no pre-trib. There is a pre-trib, but it is a great exodus, and you don't go to heaven. You go to a place of protection for the wise sheep. The foolish are left behind to deal with their abominations on their head, and whether they're going to take a mark or, stand with Yahovah. Oh. A bug. And so it is just written. And yet ones want to say that Yahovah is a liar, that he's not going to protect his wise sheep, but he will. It's not a rapture. There are two catching away. And it is just there. But you got ones like these so-called prophets, that cat one. Cat Kerr. And I don't know. She must have a strong delusional spirit. She says that God the Father rides a unicorn in heaven. And all these insane things. See, she talks about like there has been hundreds of years that time, like, but if this person spent beyond 7 days in heaven, let's say a total of 10, floating down, like rain, like it's just like waterfalls. Cows drive tractors in heaven. All this insanity. And this person speaks about it like they have a strong delusion, because a day in heaven is 1,000 years on earth. For that person to go to heaven and spend time there, and events going on. She says Walt Disney designs things in heaven. This is the insanity and the tickles that are people seeking. Because if you spent 10 days in heaven, you're facing, at least now, the great white throne judgment. Time is quite different for us now. On the footstool, and the new earth will be a place that even Yahweh, the Father, will come and dwell with us. It'll be that day. Yeah. But nobody, they don't want to listen to things that don't tickle the ears. I guess they want to believe something else. I don't know why they just don't see what is just written. It's not hard. You just got to remove the scales like Paul did from the eyes. And I mean man-made scales. Paul was very, studied in the Word, and he still didn't see, because man-made ways can get in the way. So, but Yahweh said He will change it. It's just looking at this world and how, I don't know, because I'm not perfect. I don't see myself as any shepherd, which saddens me, because a lot of people need shepherds that aren't feeding them vomit. I'm just, by the way, this is not pinned onto the flag. There's a sniper there. So don't pin things to your flag. So, no, I don't see myself as that way. I just see myself as somebody that just desires Yahweh's heart. And I'm not perfect. But I believe Yahweh, His Word, before humans. Because a lot of these so-called shepherds, are whitewashed tombs. They're all about, the outside. They got no love, no mercy, no fire. Two of them can't go and pray for any Oh, good. Two of them can't pray and see the sick recover, made whole. Yet they proclaim all this. Thus saith. Like when Moses was ascended, was before Jehovah, he shone so much. Like he put a veil over himself. He put a veil over himself. Yet these ones, you know, the people want their ears tickled. They want to, I don't know, I guess, believe that cows in heaven drive tractors. Why is there a fueling station? Why is there combustible vehicles in heaven? When at Noah's time, they had the technology from the bee to hover and fly like the UFO. And food was not, only because of sin did food become a struggle to come from the ground. Before that, you didn't read about Adam needing to make a garden or plant things and different things in the garden. He wasn't there. Like, it's just the insanity. Cat Kerr. So yeah, I get a little, I don't know. But I know that the winter there and that, but people are getting sick. They are. It is harming people. They hide the numbers, they hide the things, but in the other, I believe they're building up for a bigger thing. They got people with fucked up immune systems that then they want to give to the LGBTQ a new invented, so-called virus protection monkeypox thing. What mix will you make, eh? And the bird flu is still boiling away. Countries being played. But we are in the time of the wake-up soon. For the foolish and wise. I know it's hard for many to think that they're asleep, but in my own opinion, there is yet for me to even imagine and see, because the beast will rise up from the sea, and he will be quite different. And they have the technology from Noah's time. They're going to play people quite well. Noah's time was very advanced. And yeah, they're going to use that to play humans, enslave them under a beast system Not because the world's gonna drift off for long periods of time and these spaceships coming and rescuing. No, it's because the dragon knows his time is short and he wants to kill as many humans on this earth as possible, and if he can drag them to a lake of fire as punishment, that's even bonus for him. And that is his desire, is to lead people to damnation because he believes he is the only greatest one. And he will mock and he will blaspheme Yahweh. And his beasts will rise, one from the sea and one from the land. The Legion and Fenrir. You know, people can, you know, I get amazed how many just ignore what the prophets have written and said in the Old Testament and ignore everything in it as pertaining to Jews. Remember, Judah, Israel, Judah, Israel come together, are made one after the great Exodus, and they are protected. They have the Spirit of Yahweh poured out upon them fully. Everything that you sing about and dream about and proclaim that is going to happen in Joel, and that happens after the great Exodus. It is what happens to the woman given wings, taken to that place, not at the 3.5. They are at the first of the 7 years, on the day of cloud and darkness, as it is repeated, when Gog and them are destroyed. Then the 3.5 years of peace of the beast and all that going around, because after that war, people will be like wanting it. You know, after the Gog does its thing in the wars, people will want peace and security. And the beast will rise up from the sea and desire to bring it about with the help of the other beasts. While those wise, the woman is protected for 3.5 years. At the same time, the two witnesses witness to the world. It is just written. You have to start believing you're part of Israel, grafted in. Judah, Israel, Judah, Israel, Judah. Become one. No more Judah. No more Israel. They become one. They're called a new name. It'll still be Israel, but you know what I mean. They're together. They are one people, and they become a people unto Yahweh, unto God. And He becomes a God unto them. They are transformed. Whatsoever they ask, God will give. Just easily. He will not hide His countenance. There will be the pillar of fire at night, the smoke during the day, over structures everywhere. It will not just be one place. God will transform people's hearts. And I know what that's like. It happened to me in 1995. And it's a real thing. And it transforms you. It wasn't a time I accepted Jesus as my Lord and Savior. I've always believed. At 3, I knew who I was. I was Jesus' boy. I would proclaim and carry the Bible as a child. And then rebellion set in because my eyes started getting covered with man-made ways by these shepherds. And then I rebelled because I blamed God for my problems and different things that happened. And at 13 until 1995 when I was 24 years old. Yeah. It is a real thing what God can do to the heart, what God can do for your spirit. I seek Yahweh's heart. I believe He has shown things in the past. He's given me dreams when I was very close to Him. And even when I wasn't, to wake me up. And I believe He has done that for, I'd hope, everybody, because He's not a respecter of persons. He sent His only begotten Son to redeem us. And made it that if we only believe, and desire to walk as His Son says, Yeshua, Jesus, that we won't be sorted into the garbage bin of those, who desire the sin and to reject Him. We will have a forever with Him. So I don't know where I would even be able to send somebody who believes in Yeshua other than read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. Read those. Walk as the Master said. As how He divides the foolish and the wise, especially in these days. Because we are in the end. And when you see an army unlike any, one's transformed, a vicious army, I hope you realize that shortly after that is the Gog and Magog war. And if you're in Israel and love Yahweh, find haven with friends in the U.S. or someplace that other than in the land of Israel. I know many, they don't believe that, but I have the other videos, the scriptures, the war, what's going to happen, Zephaniah. But they got all those man-made ways telling them only good things are going to happen. Or they're getting beamed up to heaven and all the bad shit that's just the Jews worry about. Yeah. Ignore all the Bible. Because Preacher Billy Bob, he told you. He told you there's no pre-trib. Or he told you there is one. Or he told you that multiple things, but not anything about a great exodus, not about the wise being taken and protected and transformed in Israel and given the land of Israel, that they shall remove all the idols, all the abominations, all those things off the land, and that they shall build the temple seen by Ezekiel, and they will be there, and they will witness, the two witnesses, as he deals with the world. They deal with the world, as also they deal with the beast and different things. Doesn't say, but I believe it's two disciples of Jesus that are also witnessed in the histories of First Nations about the prophet ones that came and told the gospel of Yeshua, Jesus, to the First Nations long before any Columbus sailed or anything like that. So I believe they've been alive. I believe they're still around, and I hope they come to visit. So, because I believe those are two that can pray for the sick and see them recover. I believe they're the only two on this planet that can do it. No issues, no problems, no ifs, ands, or buts, and no need for anybody ever having to pay them 1 cent. Unlike that Robin one, he showed up in 2018. Now 4 years later, he's he has a wealth of $42 million. These ones really like building up treasures on earth. It's so familiar with the prophets of the Bible that would refuse anything. What was the one who wanted money? What happened to him? Oh yeah, all the sickness and bullshit fell on him. So yeah. And then you got Balaam. Yeah. Balaam talked with God. Yeah. He also knew how to lead the people away from God. Lead them in man-made ways. The prophets of Balaam, the ones who push man-made ways to tickle the ears of the believers. So, yeah, I think we're pretty close. Summer of Rage, I think they want to push on the world. But Nahum chapter 1, the commies will be gone. Mystery Babylon shall not rise. Babylon will not return. The Roman Empire has not ended yet before the kingdom of Yeshua, kingdom of heaven. those feet, they still have to show up. No Babylon will show up. And Mystery Babylon is not the United States. It is that commie country in Asia, and the wild ones with them, like the cults, WEF, UN, all these commie ones, because they're all thick as thorns, and drunk on their own ideas, thinking that they are winning. But they will be burnt up like dry stubble. Yehovah will destroy the CCP and all the cults connected with them. All the commies will fall. The vampires will be gone. And a new kingdom will rise up. And it will be the beast kingdom, the end of the legs, until Yeshua returns and brings the 1,000 years peace and rest to this world. I hope to make some videos. Some more there. The weather's getting better. Maybe I'll get Bruce Wayne to do some. Yeah, without the mask. You know, that's why you gotta beware of the members of the 1666 cult. That's why myself, I believe that Robin Bullock is actually a member of that cult, because he pushes Kabbalah. They'll push the Bible and all that. But see, they want to lead believers in a certain direction, believing that this cult in Israel is going to get their Messiah once they bring about the Gog War. But they believe themselves, this cult that runs a lot in Israel, will win against, in that this Messiah one will deliver them from it. They're all delusional. But they don't get it, that they get all killed. They're gone. And another one rises up that, in my opinion, has used these vampire Muppets for their own purpose, as, you know, what they want. Because the vampire ones have been happy to do this evil because they like it. And in that liking and delusion and their thought that they're above everything, they have led Israel to be a place where the people have no desire. There are those small pockets, but there is no mass collective of a government that wants to bring honor to the Creator and the one that has established Israel. They live upon ruins with no desire. And they worship their idols. They worship the traditions and everything from everybody around them. And God is going to use this army, the Gog Magog army, to bring judgment upon that cult and upon the land and remove them. And He will destroy that army then gather His scattered sheep, fill the land, the wise, protect them, and then 3.5 years later they go directly to the throne room in heaven, a number uncountable of all God's sheep that are called up on that day, the mid-trib rapture, as churches would say. And the final is for the 144 and the greater judgments that are poured out on the earth. And then Yeshua returns with those ones that were called up. And the 1,000 years on earth with Yeshua. But at the end of that 1,000 years, there will be the final, are you with Yahweh or are you with sin? And the dragon will be released from the pit. He will go and deceive and again fool them, and they will be transformed like those ones that will go against Israel to bring the judgment, and he will send an army like the sands of the sea against Yeshua and the ones transformed, and that's the end. That's the end of it all. Those ones picked the choice, and the great white throne judgment room. The earth is done. And then the new earth. So, yeah. But these prophets, they don't even preach what is just written. You know, I don't think myself as a prophet. I assume I'm instinct on news things and different things, but when it's in the Bible and it's just thus saith, and it's talking about the Gog Magog, and it's talking about the greater exodus and transformation of Judah and Israel made one. I go by that because it's God saying it. And prophets have already proclaimed it that are in the Bible. They want their ears tickled. Maybe if I learned how to juggle, eh? Trust in Yeshua Jesus. John 3:16. We learn how Yeshua said to pray. The Word, Yahweh's very Word and heart. You've seen the Father, you've seen Yeshua. You see Yeshua, you've seen the Father. He said in ways and how to live. Many put rabbinic or pope or Billy Bob preacher's ways ahead of it. But in these days, it'd be a good way to, just know who the King is and what he said. That Yahweh's will be done. I put my hope in him. Even though sometimes I don't understand everything. I truly put my hope in him. Because I seek his heart. I hope everybody does. Take it easy. And love Batman.